So just taking this time to find a position to practice, a posture that feels supportive for you. Whatever that posture may be, whether it's sitting or lying or standing, seeing if we can sense some stability in the posture. Having a stable posture allows the mind to also feel stable, encourages the mind. And perhaps we can let go of this idea of being an expert, a knowing meditator, and just lean into being a beginner again. Just resting in this not knowing. And we can always support our stability in practice by having a sense of the weight of the body, being aware of the surfaces on which it's resting upon. And the connection that we have with the earth, and how much our body wants to be connected to the earth, wants this grounding. Often, if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I can feel my body actually pulling away from the chair, pulling away from the surface. So, allowing ourselves to rest into the earth, being held, feeling ourselves as being held. And seeing if we can also embrace this idea of being enough. I'm here, I'm enough in this moment. And let's scan down through the body, just gently from the top of the head, allowing the face to be soft. And often if I soften my face, have this gentleness in my face, you can feel the corresponding softening in the heart area. Moving the awareness down through the scalp and the neck. Noticing the shoulders. Noticing the position of the head and the position of the shoulders. And if you want to make any little alterations, so we have a sense of balance. Moving the awareness down the back. And being aware of the spine. And you may wish to slightly elongate the spine, or just carry this sense of grace through the spine. You can have this grace, this dignity, whilst also having this self-compassion to our body, what our body needs. Allowing the awareness to flow down through the torso, the breasts, the belly. And all that's contained within the body, the organs, the viscera. Allow the awareness to flow down through the arms, and perhaps just having a little space between the arms and the body. Just creates this flow. Allows us to feel open, receptive. And also dwelling in the hands, tender hands, hard-working hands. Moving down into the pelvis, the hips, and the upper thighs. Bringing this self-compassion to whatever we're meeting, whether that be difficulty, pleasure, just a sense of neutrality. Moving down through the knee joints, the lower legs, and into the feet. Seeing if we're able to befriend the body, befriend our experience in all of its joy and complexity. And undoubtedly on this journey down through the body, the mind will have wandered. Just gently leading it back to the practice again and again. Allowing ourselves to rest here in this breathing body. The breath that has been here all along, just quietly in the background of our experience. And we might like to have this sense of breathing up through the earth. Just be starting to begin to bring this first practice to a close in your own time, in your own way, with a little movement perhaps, blinking the eyes open if they've been closed. So if we're ready to begin the second part of the practice, just taking a little time to re-establish ourselves. Let's connect with the breath, breathing the body. And let's have a sense of the whole body breathing, a single field of sensation. We might like to notice, inviting you to ask the question, how open is my body in this moment? This is the opposite really of feeling contracted or restricted. Sometimes we fold in on ourselves. Our body can be shaped by our emotions. Noticing any holding, any tension. And we can do this with a simple acceptance and noticing. curiosity. And we can use our breath, our compassionate breath, to breathe into any openness that we may notice, or any resistance or tension. Just using the breath to soothe, to alleviate. Or to increase our sense of openness. And simply noticing with a tenderness, compassion to ourselves and our experience. How open is my body in this moment? And then moving our attention to the mind and asking the same question. How open is my mind in this moment? Maybe we're aware of tightening around a particular thought. Maybe there's a great deal of activity in the mind. And if this is the case, we can always create a bigger container, having a sense of the mind like a wide open sky, increasing the space for the thoughts, for the mental noise and activity. Breathing into any openness that feels helpful here. Minds produce thought, they plan, they contain memory, they tell us stories. We don't need to enter into any kind of fight with the mind. All of these things are really important. The mind's functions are really important. Seeing if we can support this openness by having a mind like the wide open sky. Noticing the openness or the space between thoughts. We can always use the body as a counterpoint to the pull of our thoughts, with remaining grounded, remaining anchored in the body. And then moving the awareness, the attention to the heart space. And being aware of all the heart carries. Our love, appreciation, longing, frustration, sadness and joy. How open is my heart in this moment? Seeing if we're able to be with whatever arises in this moment, whatever our heart contains. There will be vulnerability, there will also be strength. Seeing if we can trust the practice to hold us in this moment. Knowing that we can hold ourselves compassionately, holding whatever needs to be held. Path to open-heartedness begins with allowing. We can always practice in a way that supports ourselves, re-establishing any grounding, any anchoring, if this is more helpful in this moment right now. My words are only a suggestion. We can always be aware of our needs, allowing the practice to respect our needs. How open is my heart in this moment? And allowing the breath to support us. Breathing with a tenderness into the heart space. And whenever we look inwards, we can do this in a gentle, respectful way. Some days we're able to consider this more deeply. Other days we just need this light touch. Knowing what we need just builds this body, mind, heart, wisdom. Meeting our experience with room for all to be held. And if we feel able to move beyond ourselves, considering the world, how open am I to the rest of the world in this moment? To the people who are meditating here with me, to my communities, and extending as far as feels comfortable for you. Other people, other beings, all sharing their challenges, difficulties, and joys. How How open am I to being with the world in this moment? And seeing if we can breathe into this openness with the world and for the world, our loving kindness for all beings, loving kindness for the earth itself. And perhaps we can breathe with this light of compassion at the heart center. Perhaps contained within this compassion is a message of peace, of hope. I'm just going to offer you a poem by the poet John Riddell, which is When the World Goes Mad. When the world goes mad, be wildly kind to everyone, everyone, everyone. You can't control much, but you control how you treat others. In these breaking news, heartbreaking times, when nothing feels certain, let your raw kindness be a certainty. Allow your compassion to become a north star, stamped up in the sky for others to follow back home. Offering ourselves this kindness, this compassion, offering others this kindness, compassion. And gently beginning to bring this practice to a close. A little movement in the body, just in your own time. Thank you everyone for practicing.